Right, if you own a van or a vehicle as old as old Max here, which is a 94 model, I'd kind of think that you'd do a bit of your own maintenance on it, because you don't want to go spending money on doing things on an old car if you can help it. I'm just going to do my oil change. He's a little bit overdue. First step is I've got him up on ramps. Never get under a vehicle that's only on a jack. So I've actually got him up on wheel ramps so I can climb under here. And I've let the engine run a little bit just to get the oil warm. And it also helps to loosen up when you do that. Your first step is basically drain all the oil out of the sump. So we'll just see if we cop a lot of this on us. Make sure you've got a good pan to catch it all in. This one's ones you can buy. And yeah, that's nice and black, so it is old. I think I'm probably about 20,000 past when I should have done this. We'll let that drain out and then I'll come back. Pretty much drained, it's just got a couple of little drips going on. Next step, you want to get your filter off. On this van, filters are in weird places on some cars, and on this one it's not too bad. It's a bit of a pain to get to, and you need to have some sort of filter removal tool. Now I've got this one that basically just grips on and then twist it around. You only need to get it onto this back section where the little indents are on it, and it's just regular righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. There will still be a bit of oil in this, like that. That's why I wanted to make sure I moved my tray. Now that oil is in the filter, so as you get it to the point where it's about to come off, you try and hold it up, and then you can empty the last bit out. Now my filter tray, it's like a little peg you can sit the filter on, just so you can drain all the oil out, or as much of it out as you can. I'm getting the cloth that I use to dry my hands, get oil off my hands. Use that to wipe up a bit of the old oil off the engine block. You want to try and have a clean surface. In a perfect world, you might go to the spare parts place. They say you should get a replacement washer for the bottom of your sump. They're not a regular washer, I don't think. I think they're kind of like two pieces, so they spring together and form a bit more of a seal. In this case, I don't have that, and I'm going back to work in a day and a half. I just want to make sure that I've got this oil changed, so I'm just going to put that back on, cinch it up with the spanner. And there are torque settings for that, but tight is good. Now I'll get my new filter, and I'll show you the step that I do before I put the filter on. So when you get your new filter, just a plastic seal over the bottom of it. This rubber seal here needs to be a good seal up against the engine block where the filter goes on. So what I do is I get a fresh bit of oil, and I just wipe a little smear of it just on that rubber seal. I can't remember who told me how to do that, but what that does is that when you're trying to tighten your filter back up on there, it stops a dry rubber rubbing on dry metal, because you basically wiped it off. Get that up in there. Now when you put it in, I turn it backwards as though I'm undoing it, just until you hear a click, and that's just getting the thread seated, and then just wind it on. It should spin on really easy. If it doesn't, you're cross-threading the threads on it, and that's no good. Once you get it on, start tightening it, and once you get it till it feels like it's really tight, you just want to get it as hand tight as you can. You really don't want to go, there we go, a little bit more tight. you don't really want to use the filter spanner to put it on, because if you're putting pressure on it to put it on, it actually can dent into the side of the filter and damage the inside. So just try and do it hand tight. That's done. That's done. All I've got to do now is fill up with new oil. Just in case you've never done an oil change before and you're watching this to see how to do an oil change, your oil cap is going to be the one usually at the very top of your motor, because the oil needs to go down around all of the tappets and the valve tops and all that sort of stuff. So try and just clean off the area around that, because you don't want grit and stuff getting into the engine that doesn't need to be in there. I'm by no means a purist with a clean engine. I can see some grit in there that's basically flown up here throughout the months. That's pretty good. So you get your cap off. That's where the oil's got to go. I've got a dedicated filter for my oil, so I don't go mixing it up with anything else. Oils usually come with a clear section down the back, so you can see how much oil's in there and how much you've used. Some oils are even better. They'll have these little markers, and on this one, this is a 5 litre bottle, so each mark is basically a litre. So there's a litre, 2, 3, 4, 5. Make sure you know how much oil is going into your motor. This particular motor, 3.6 litres in the pan, 0.3 in the filter, so 3.9 in total, so just under 4 litres, because you don't want to put too much oil in, but you also don't want to have too little. So if I was using this one, when I got down to here, and there's my 1 litre left, I know that I've got 4 litres in there. This one I'm going to have to, the one I bought this time, I'm just going to have to estimate it. About here is going to be, once I'm down to there, I've got about 4 litres in there out of this 5 litre bottle. I tip oil in sideways. It reduces the chance of the oil glugging. You want a nice smooth pour. Let's stop and have a look. Still got about a litre and a bit to go. A bit more. A little bit more. So that's probably about the right amount. Take that out, put your cap on, and you want to start up the engine, let it run for a little bit to get the oil through. Then you might check the level with your dipstick, but you do want to make sure that your car is sitting level when you use the dipstick too. Now I'm on a slope anyway, so I'm not. That's why I just go by the amount that's in the bottle. Simple oil change. Not sure how much they charge in garages for that, because I haven't done it for so long now.